Well, imagine being the pilot of a small plane when suddenly the engine fails. You know, you have to get the plane down, but only have seconds to figure out how.
Well, that frightening picture came true for a mentor couple Sunday night when the plane they were flying in plunged into Lake Erie. Tonight, our Gretchen Carlson spoke exclusively with the two survivors who say somebody was definitely on their side.
You could hear the engine. I knew we were in big trouble, and, you know, basically you just hope you're going to make it.
It's not often you get the chance to say you survived a plane crash, but tonight you're looking at living proof. Barb and Denny Merrick are alive after going down in a plane Sunday night.
But still, it is frightening. You know, you're supposed to land on a runway. You're supposed to have power when you land.
This is the plane the Merricks were in. They had rented it for a weekend trip when 6 miles out from the airport, the engine started running rough.
So it bothered me, so I got on the radio and called the tower at Lakefront and said we're experiencing some engine roughness. And the controller says, okay, you're clear to land any runway.
But just when Denny and Barb thought everything was okay and their plane was going to land safely, the engine quit altogether. The plane started heading for these rocks instead of the runway, forcing Denny to make a split-second decision. Denny's options, rocks or water. He chose the water.
I heard him say to the tower, I'm not going to make it, and we hit.
When we did make contact with the water, we were pretty much level and hit it like a flat rock skipping on the water. It just went like that and sat down.
Then all I remember is just getting wet and him saying, open the door, we have to get out, open the door now.
Fully clothed and submerged in this 40-degree water, the Merricks managed to swim to safety. Their injuries were minor, a bump on Denny's face, a cut on Barb's forehead. Nonetheless, you might think this harrowing experience would stop this couple from getting up in the air again. But you're wrong. Denny says first chance he gets, he'll be flying again. Barb, well, she isn't quite so sure.
The knees will shake when it's time to do it, but I'm sure I will. Don't know when, but
I know you will,
yeah.
too. You'll get the bug again.
In Mentor, Gretchen Carlson, the 10 o'clock news.
And by the way, the Merricks have found a little humor in their life-threatening experience. When friends or relatives call the Merricks, their telephone answering machine now says, come fly with us again sometime soon.
Well, it was like some...
And the people who were in this wreck live to tell about it. They're only talking to us. We have the information you need right now.
From Cleveland Television News, this is 19 News at 11.
Hear how a local couple literally pulled their lives out of Lake Erie. It's a story you're not going to hear anywhere else.
Tonight's Letterman in London.
I was worried how much it was going to hurt and if we would make it, and, you know, just kind of hoping that if we didn't, it would be quick.
Man, oh man, imagine being inside a plane that's almost ready to land. Suddenly, as you're getting close to the ground, boom, all the power's gone, and it won't make the runway.
That's exactly what happened to a mentor couple Sunday night when the plane they were flying in crashed into Lake Erie right by Burke Airport. Tonight, the two survivors spoke exclusively with our Gretchen Carlson. She joins us now with more.
Well, Denise, Denny and Barb Merrick were clear to land their plane at Burke Lakefront Airport on Sunday evening when suddenly they knew something wasn't right. The engine in their plane was beginning to fail, and suddenly the Merricks were facing life or death.
I heard him say to the tower, I'm not going to make it, and we hit.
You're listening to Barb and Denny Merrick talk about what happened just before their plane crashed.
It is frightening. You know, you're supposed to land on a runway. You're supposed to have power when you land.
It's not often victims who've just gone down in a plane walk away from the scene.
Then all I remember is just getting wet and him saying, open the door, we have to get out, open the door now.
But the Merricks not only walked, they swam from this plane to safety, alive and not seriously injured.
I got a bump here. She got a scratch there.
Yeah, it's a little sore.
The trouble began 6 miles south of the airport. The engine started getting rough, then smoothed. But just when Denny and Barb thought everything was okay and their plane was going to land safely, the engine quit altogether. The plane started heading for these rocks instead of the runway, forcing Denny to make a split-second decision.
The options at that point were rocks or water. I chose water.
It's a choice that may have saved the Merrick's lives. Although the water was freezing cold at just 40 degrees, it probably cushioned their landing, sending both to the hospital for hypothermia instead of broken bones. When you see the banged-up plane and imagine what it was like to go down in it, would you want to fly again?
First chance I get.
Denny Merrick can't wait. His wife, well, maybe not.
The knees will shake when it's time to do it, but I'm sure I will. Don't know when, but
I know you will too.
yeah.
You'll get the bug again.
Yeah.
Wonder how I'd feel about that. Turns out the Merricks hope their friends will want to go back up in the air with them again. In fact, the message on their answering machine says they're alive and well and inviting their friends to get back in a plane with them. Denise, Emmett?
Okay.
I'd do it.
I don't think I'll be there.
Because if he crashes, I'm going to live.
Yeah. Well, a hailstorm in the middle of April sounds like a typical spring on the North Coast.
Meteorologist Dave Sweeney says for the next few days, we won't have a lot